What? Yeah, I'm also recording the session just if someone is not able to join, then they can go through it. Okay. So what we have learned last week is, of course, we learned very little on while loops and if statements. So I just started off with for loops, but I'm going to start with for again today as well. So, okay, we've got a few more people. So today I'm going to start with the for loops again, and I'll continue with for loops and then see how far we can go. And there's something called functions as well after the for loops. I'll see if I can cover functions if time permits, or else we'll push it to the next week, like functions, lambda, arrays, modules, and followed by the numpy. So let's begin with week 4. As I said, for loops is which we can utilize it for this iterative approach. Like as I said, while and for are almost the same, but there's a difference, slight difference between these two. But for example, with while, to recollect what you have done, for example, what you've done is here a equals to 5. We're treating phi is the value which has been assigned to a, and I'm saying that 5 is less than or equals to 8, right? So it's obviously it's less than 5, less than 8. So then print C. Just we're just printing the value letter C. So what happens is, so this loop is like a never-ending process. So it keeps on continuation, right? Print C. It's like a never-ending. Why? Because we didn't put a condition saying that okay, if this condition is met and stop. So 5 is always equals to 8, then it goes to infinite loop. Then we need to stop the kernel or like an process. That's for especially for the while loop, right? And for example, if I take that n equals to 0 while n equals to n less than 10 something, what happens is here we have, right, n equals to 0 means starts with 0, and 0 is less than 10, obviously correct, and print n. It prints first time 0, then 0 plus 3 will be 3, right? So the next time it goes to the while loop, okay, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 plus 3 will be 9. And once it goes 9 plus 3 will be 12, it stops. Why? Because it doesn't wants to go beyond 10. Why? Because 9 plus 3 will be 12. 12 is greater than 10, so it won't print. So whatever is printed is only these 4 values, right? So this is what the while loops is. So here what's happening is here is looking for the while and the condition, then print. Okay. So let's come back to the for loop. Here what's happening here, if we look for the for condition for I in, we got a list of elements here. We're taking the few set of list of elements like a 2, 4, 6, and then couple of values and say print I. What it is doing is it will just print the values within the list, and it's trying to say for I, it will pick for 2, prints the value, then goes to the next value and keeps on going to the next values. Okay. So that's what. So for example, let's go to the for other for loop. Okay. For example, here what's happening is here for n equals to n in the particular list and print n, else print n. Okay. So what is happening in this case is, so it will print all the values in the list, and once it has finished the values in the list, then it say okay, else condition, and else what you're saying, print n. So both the conditions are been satisfied. So here let's look for anything like an additional. For example, I'm taking again something again the list with instead of the numbers, I'm giving the alphanumeric or the like an alphabetic characters. Like I'm assigning a list here, like in fruits equals to apple, banana, and cherry. Okay. For I for x in fruits and print. So what is happening is it's just like we're picking up the variable x in fruits. So when I say print X, so it starts with the first apples, then bananas, then cherries. So it's like a loop. Okay, it keeps on going one after the other and prints. So we'll see the difference. What will happen just in case if you pick only one? For example, for X in banana. Sorry, guys. So what's happening over here is, for example, for X in banana, in the sense, so we have given a string. So when I say print X, what happens is it keeps on reading the letters inside the word banana. So it picks up the first letter, then the second, then the fourth. So we get the letters, uh, individual letters inside the string. So whatever the string we given, so it picks up. For example, banana. I can say a fruit. Okay. Let me run it again. Okay. So it picks up each and every letter. So even though it treats space as one of the character. Okay. So it is treating the space as one of the character. So that's a reason. Okay. So that is a reason you're getting these letters. So you get all the string characters independently. So let's see what it's happening is here it's a loop. Okay, it's creating a loop. It keeps on filling the printing the letters. And let's pick up one more thing. For example, so what we're trying to do is exit the loop when X is banana. Okay. So what's happening here? The list again we're given as fruits equals to apples, bananas, and the cherries within the quotes. Okay, what I say is for X in fruits, print X. Okay, and if X equals to banana, then break. So what happens is first time when X equals to fruits, print X in the sense it will pick first letter. Again, first string will be the second apple. It prints, and then the next time it looks for the condition. Double equals to means it's like an if this element over here banana equals to banana, then break it. So what happens is it's like it goes to the first letter apples, print the first letter apple equals to banana, no, right? So it goes back to the next banana and it prints banana, then it checks, okay, banana equals to banana, then break. So it doesn't print the value cherry. So this is what the difference is, why it is not able to print the uh, last element, rather it is able to print only the first two elements. Okay. So let's pick up one more example, like exit the loop when X is banana, but this time break comes before the print. Okay. So if you see the difference here, the print of X and then the condition is being set up. So here we are setting up the condition first, then the break, then the print. So here what's happening is fruits equals to apple, banana, and cherry, and X equals to X in fruits. Okay. If apple equals to banana, no, not equal. So it won't break, and then print the value. Next time it will pick up banana, right? And some banana equals to banana, then break. So it won't even print banana. Why? Because the condition has been satisfied. So here what we are trying to achieve here is we got a for loop, and when we need to use the break and how we can utilize the break statement. So that is what we are trying to utilize over here. So here next is there's something called continue, right? How does a continue works? Okay, if I run it, so fruits, I'm giving the same example, apple, banana, cherry for X in fruits. If apple equals to banana, right? Not equal, then continue. For example, if equals to banana, then continue, right? So let's see, apple equals to banana. No, it is not equal to, but it says continue. Why? Because apple. So the reason there is a difference in this one. It didn't print banana, but it printed apple and cherry. The reason is this condition is being satisfied, especially for banana. Okay. So if I remove these two, for example, so what is happening here? For x equals to fruits, print x. That means print the values of the fruits, right? But here, what I'm trying to do is, okay, let me print it again. Okay, so here what I'm trying to do is, so if this condition is been met, then continue. It says don't print that value, just go to the next one. That's what the condition is trying to say, right? So apple, it prints apple, and when the term comes to banana equals to banana, it doesn't print, it goes to the next value. So that is what the advantage of using the continue over here. So do not print banana. That's what we're trying to do. That means if the condition is been met, you don't need to print, go to the next value, right? So let's pick up the next value using the range function. How does the range value works over here, right? So here for x in range 6 and print x. So what it is happening is, so in range in the sense 1 to it goes to 6 in the sense it's usually in Python it starts with 0, right? That's a uh, that's a format in Python. Like whenever it starts with 0, 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when I say in range of 6, so 0 to 5, so total we got 6 count, right? So if I say total, which like in 7 this time, when I say run it, it brings up 6 also, but it doesn't print 7. Why? Because its starting value is 0, right? That's the reason. So this is what we are using like in range, like in how it works, right? So there are other ways also using the starting parameter. For example, if we given the range here for x in range 2 comma 6 and print x, so there's a difference between the top one and the bottom one. The reason is here 2 is the first value. When I say print x, it will print 2. Then, so 2 to 6, right? So whatever the values starting between 2 and in between 6, so it will print, right? So it is like range 2 to 6, whatever print the values between 2 to 6. That's what we are trying to say, like the parameters. Just in case if I add comma 3, okay, just the same thing what we are doing, we can do the same thing like 6 also here also, and say increment 3, right? So what it is happening here is 2. Here the same thing, when I say print x, it is printing 2, okay? So 2 plus 3, it's like an increment. 2 plus 3 will be 5, right? 5. So within the range of 2 to 6, yes. Beyond that, it won't. For example, I gave like a 9, okay, and rerun it. So look at the output, 2, 5, 8. The reason why we got 2, 5, 8 is 2 is the first element, it prints a 2. 2 plus 3 will be 5, right? 5 is the second element, and 5 plus 3 will be the 8. So this is 2 comma 9 is the range, and 3 is the increment. So what it is trying to say is increment the value each time x value by adding up. So 2 is the initial value, 2 plus 3 the 5, and 5 plus 3 the 8. And so after 8 plus 3, 12, it won't print. Why? Because it is beyond the range. So that's a value, like an increment the sequence with 3, default is 1. Okay. So if it meets a condition, then it prints, otherwise it won't print. Okay. So next thing, so print all the numbers from 0 to 5 and print a message when the loop has ended. So here what's happening is the same thing, but we're I think we have seen this example of a range over here, right? Like a range 5 and 6. If I put 6 over here, the same thing, what will happen is it prints 0 to 5. The same case, but what's happening here over here is like a print x in range, print x. So 0 to 5, the same case. Once the condition has been met, it goes to the next statement and say finally finished. Okay. Of course, this is not mandatory, but just to know that what will happen if there is an else condition, like how it reacts with the for loops. Okay, let's take one more example with the breaking the loop. Okay, for example, break the loop when x is 3. See what will happen. So here for x in the condition range, right? If x equals to 3, then break. Yeah. So first time it will start with 0. It prints a value 0. Then it goes back, prints a value 1. Then it goes back, prints a value. It keeps on incrementing. And once there is a value 3, 3 equals to 3, then break. So it won't print the value, right? And it won't print else also, or because we're given the break, right? So if this condition is not been satisfied, then it goes to the else condition. So since the condition has already been satisfied, so it just prints 0, 1, 2. So this is what it's been happening. For example, if I say 4, if I change the value to 4, let's see what will happen. So this time it goes to 0, 1, 2, 3. Why? Because again, next after 3 will be 4, 4 equals to 4, then break. So don't print the value. So that's the advantage of using the break. And that too, we are using the for condition and also the if condition, right? So this is what it's happening. So let's pick up one more example here. This time, as I seen in the last session also, we have used the double for conditions, and we stopped the session at the time. But this time I've given them one more example. Like we got nested for loops. We got a for loop and another for loop. Okay. So here, adjective, for example, ADJ, I'm assigning the list to red, big, tasty, and fruits, I'm assigning to apple, banana, and cherry. Okay. So what will happen here is we got two loops, and how these loops are being uh, uh, how they are interrelated, and what will happen to the first loop and what will happen to the second loop. For x in adjective means, first of all, when I say for this loop, like it will look for this condition, like the values. It looks for red, yes, starting with red, and for y in fruits. Okay, this one. So print x comma y. X is nothing but adjective and y is nothing but the fruits. So when I say the first time, x comma y picks red and apple, right? So red and apple. So next time, what it is going to do here is, so this condition is going to repeat for all the three elements. That means first time when I say x equals to adjective, it start with red, red apple, red banana, red cherry. So the internal loop has to be completed once, cycle. And next, once the cycle has been completed, then it goes to big. Then that means x value will be equals to big, second cycle. Then next time, big apple, big banana, and big and cherry. So that is the second cycle. And once the second cycle has been completed, this is an internal loop. And it goes to the third cycle. For x in adjective means tasty. And tasty comes, and tasty with apples, tasty with banana, tasty with cherries. So this is what the reason why I'm pushing it internally in the sense. So both the for loops can't be on the same status like this. It can't. So there is something called, as I said, the indentation. If I run this, it will throw the see, it says for indentation error expected and intended block. So it doesn't like to have this over here. And when I push it inside and when I run it, it gives the values, right? So what I mean to say is, if you have something like a nested for loops or something, we can't put it on the same level of 0th position. It has to be pushed inside. So we should be careful when we try to use a for, or like, for example, even the if I've used it here also, I pushed it inside. I can't push it on the same level of 0th position underneath the for. So this indicates that if print and this one comes into one status, like in one level, and for and else belongs to one level, right? So we just need to uh, check the conditions where we are writing it, and what is the impact of this. Just to be careful. So indentation, we did speak about it previously also, like we can't put it on the same level. It should be pushed it inside. Okay, like in 1 or 2 steps inside, and make sure when you run it, you get the results. So there will be a difference when you uh, place it on the 0th position and when place on the 2nd or 3rd position. So that's what the reaction is. So let's pick up one more example, right? Let me save it. So create an array containing car names. So it's like an, for example, arrays. Okay. So I think we haven't came across this thing arrays. We'll talk about the arrays, but the thing is that we just need to understand arrays means, again, it's like an we got the set of elements same as like an array on like a list, but here this time we'll be having like an in mathematics like an 1 by 1 array or 2 by 2 array or 3 by 3. So we'll talk about the arrays in the next sessions as well, but just in case to understand, so here I'm assigning cars equals to Ford, Volvo, BMW, and for cars in for X in cars. Okay, so what will happen is just the print value of X. It's X, Ford, Volvo, and BMW. Okay, so here if you look for like arrays in mathematics, so it will be you'll see an example, right? Like in 2 by 2, 3 array, or like in 1 by 2. Uh, okay, so as you see examples, so it's like an, if you see here, you got 3, 3, 4, 4, 4 plus 7, 7, and here you got 4. Like, and this is like an 7 by 4 array, right? Like an 7 by 4 array. So it's an array. So the same concept here, I'm trying to show it like array. So here it is not like an 7 by 4. Here is just like a 3 by 0, right? So we got the 3 columns, okay, in a row, right? So it's like, and we can say 3 comma 0, I would say. So here we are just giving an example, like what will happen, just like in cars, assigning the values of Ford, Volvo, and BMW. Okay. So if I pick like an one more one, Tesla, and if I add in, so it does print the value Tesla as well. Why? Because I'm just adding 4 values to cars, and then it will look for the first element Ford, then the second element Volvo, and the second BMW, and the fourth Tesla. So this is what it happens. So since we got time, we'll be pushing into the 4th week as well. We'll talk about the functions also. And so far, if you have any doubts, you can post your questions in this Google Meet itself, if you have. And of course, I'll be checking the window. So let's continue with functions. Okay. If someone is already familiarized with, yeah, that's good. So if someone is already familiar with these things like functions as well and good, if not, don't worry. So what's happening here is a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Okay. You can pass data known as parameters into the function. A function can return data as a result. Okay. So what we're trying to do here is creating a function. Okay. In Python, a function is defined like a def, and there's a keyword. Okay. This def is a keyword which will be using it. So let's take this example. I'm saying def of my function and say print hello from the function, right? So let's see what it does. So it's not doing anything. Why? Because I say print of, I said print, but with functions, what will happen is I need to call the function. That's the case. I can't simply say I'm defining a function and say printing the function. It won't work. I have to say I have to call the function. So in this line, what I'm doing is I'm saying my function. So when I say my function, then we are getting the value like an hello from a function. So this is the difference. So it's not necessary that we need to write the functions based on the requirement, based on the code, what we're trying to achieve. You can write a function and you can call the function anywhere in the code, depends upon the requirement. And what will happen is Python will call that particular function and it will run and execute that loop, right? So that is what it's doing over here. And for example, here I'm talking about arguments. Okay, so as I said, information can be passed into the functions as arguments. Okay, so I'm saying my function, for example, here my function fname, print fname plus alpha, right? So what I'm doing is this time I'm passing plus to the function. Fname is plus alpha. So first time it will print plus alpha. Second time when it goes into the loop, like I'm calling the function beta. So it's like an beta has been passed to this function, beta plus alpha. And third time gamma plus alpha. So here what I'm trying to do is I'm passing an argument to a particular function and it is picking up that argument and it is printing that, right? So you don't need to get confused. The only thing is that whatever the value which you are putting inside, we're calling it as an arguments. Right here we're passing the arguments to a function. So let's pick up one more example. So I can give some more detailed information here. Arguments are often, I think I can increase this. Then you guys are able to see, right? That's too much. Okay, let me decrease this. Okay, I think it's visible, right? So this time, so arguments are often shortened by args, like in short form in Python documentation. So there is something we are talking about here is like in parameters or arguments. The term parameter or arguments can be used for the same thing. Okay, let's see information that are passing into the function. So let's take up this example. What I'm saying is I'm defining a function, first name and the last name, print first name plus first name with the space and the last name. And I'm calling my function and passing Raj and Konkesa. Okay. And when I run this, I'm getting Raj Konkesa, right? If I say Ajay here, okay, I'm giving an example, another example, and passing different parameters and say Ajay and Dakore and giving the space over here also. So I got a space over here, right? So I'm just passing the value to it, right? So it picks up both the values and looks for the values. Okay, what are the values being assigned and looks for the statement next to it. So these are nothing but the, if it is like in one value, treating above as a arguments, or like here we are treating them as a parameters, right? So we are passing the parameters from here and then it is picking up the values and is printing it. So let's pick up something called star arguments. What will happen if I say star, for example, I'm defining my function and say star kids. Okay. So it can be, so the reason why I'm putting star means if you do not know how many arguments that will be passed to the function, then you have to specify as star. Like when you try to search for a documents in a Windows environment, I say star comma star. It's like in star means it, and I don't know like in how many arguments I want to pass it. So it's the same case star kids. So I'm defining the value my function of star kids, and I say print the youngest child is kids, and this like from the list I will say two, the position. Okay. So my function, I'm passing Ajay, Aspita, Ayan, and Raj. And when I run this, what I'm getting the youngest child is Ayan. Why? Because Ajay is starting with 0, Aspita is starting with 1, and Ayan is starting with 2. And just in case if I change it to 3, Okay, let's run it. So this time I get the youngest child is Raj. Why? Because it's starting with the 0th position, 1, 2, and 3, right? So I can keep on adding the this list, right? If I say Anil, so if I run it, it still get Raj. Why? Because it just like look for 0, 1, 2, and 3. It won't pick the fourth one. Why? Because I am interested to print only this kids of the cell with the 3, right? So when I change the value to it, then of course it will print it. But if I, for example, if I go back to 2, right, and it will print say again ion like a 0, 1, and 2, the position. So there's an another method also here. What I'm trying to do is you can also send arguments with a key and a value, like in key value pairs, as we have discussed long time back. So here defining my function child 3, child 2, and child 1. Okay, print the youngest child as child 3. So just be careful. I'm saying child 3 specifically. Okay. So here my function child 3 equals to Ajay. Child 1 is equals to Ajay. 2 equals to Asmita. All right. 3 equals to Ayan. So here child 3 I want to print it. So definitely what it is going to do is it is going to print my function child 1 is Ajay. It doesn't match. 2 is Asmita. It doesn't match. So child 3 is Ayan. So the youngest child is Ayan. So we just need to be careful, like what we are trying to use in the print statement. Okay. So this way, the order of the argument does not matter. So it doesn't care whether giving in this order 1, 2, 3 or like that. Why? Because here we have specified the kids of 2, but here we are specifying as just child 3. Okay. So it's like an it depends like in what type you're passing, whether passing the argument or like in whether trying to pick up the list value out of it. So what you're trying to pass, like here we are thinking that we are passing the arguments, like, and here we are also sending the arguments, but here the value is we're trying to say key value concept. We are not passing as key value concept over here. Here we're like a key value concept. Child 1 is a key, value is the Ajay. Child 2 is a key, value is Asmita. So the key value concept we are following here. And let's pick up one more example. If I run it, so what it is happening? So default parameter value. So the following example shows how to use the default parameter value. If you call the function without arguments, it uses the default value. For example, I'm defining the function country equals to Norway. Print I am from country. So this time definitely it will pick it up. But country has to be passed. First time I'm saying my function Sweden. So it will pick up first time Sweden over here and will say I am from Sweden. It won't print Norway. Why? Because we are not passing as Norway from here. Like in Sweden, I am from Sweden first time. Second time, I am from passing India. So I'm from India. And third time, okay, my function, I'm not passing anything. Okay. So since I'm not passing anything, then definitely it will pick like country equals to Norway by default. Okay. So since I've mentioned here, like in country equals to Norway, but since here we have passed the parameter, it picked up. When we didn't pass the parameter, default parameter will be like in country equals to Norway. Then it says I'm from Norway. So that's the reason we got the third line as I'm from Norway. And next, Brazil, we're passing the value. So then say I'm from Brazil. So we just need to be careful, like what we're trying to achieve out of it, right? When we pass the parameter or when we don't pass the parameter, what will happen, right? So this is what the difference is. So let's pick up a list. What will happen? So here, passing a list as an arguments. Okay. So here I'm defining my function as food. for X input, print X. Okay. And this time function has been called over here. And I'm defining the list fruits equals to apple, banana, cherry. So first time it will pick apples, it will print apples. Second time it will print banana, it will print the banana. And third time you're passing the value each time. Okay. So then it keeps on printing, right? So what we're trying to do is we're passing a list as an arguments. So you can send any data types of arguments like a string or a number or a list or dictionary. So that's what we're trying to do here. Okay. And for example, if I put it in the same way and putting the comments over here, like if you're putting comments in for this line and say this time I say as 15, 16, 18. Let me see the difference. 15, 16, 18. That means what I'm trying to do is it's not like I need to define only the string values over here. I can pass the numbers also. That's what I'm trying to say. The arguments or like an values, what you're trying here passing is the string or a number or a list. So here where instead of I given the comments here, it doesn't work when I give the comments, just for understanding only. If I remove this and if I put the comments on this one, then it prints the elements like an apple, banana, and cherry. So what I'm trying to say is we can pass either the string value or like a number value, right? We can also pass the whole list as well. So we just took the one of the example. So if you send the list as an argument, it will still be a list when it reaches the function. Okay. So let's pick up one more example. So here return values. To let the function return a value is the return statement. So there is something called what we are trying to do, defining my function of x, return phi into x. So x is, we don't know the value until and unless we'll say print my function of 3. So what happens is 3 is being passed over here, 5 3s are 15. First time it will check the function value, it prints the value 15. Second time it says print my function of 5, 5 5s are 25. And the third time when I say my function of 9, 5 9s are 45. So this is what it's trying to do. So it keeps on working one by one. It picks up the first value, goes back to the function. That means my function it's calling, it's we are passing the value 3. We are passing the value 3 to the function and it is returning like in 5 3 or 15. Second time again my function of 5, it's passing the value 5, 5 5 is 25, again 9 and 5 9 is 45. So this is what it keeps on going in iterative loop one by one. And also it's a return in the sense we can 5 into x, we are trying to say saying return the value or like an uh, it multiplies it. Okay, just in case if I say let's make it to plus instead of this. Okay, so what will happen? See, first time 3 you're passing the value, 5 plus 3 will be 8. Next 5 plus 5 will be 10, like and 5 plus 9 will be 14. So irrespective of the symbol, like what you're trying to achieve, like the addition operator, what we call as operator, like a multiplication or a division or a subtraction or what we're trying to do. So it tries to fix the value. Like here we're trying to do the multiplication. So it keeps on multiplying the value with the value which has been passed by the function. Okay. So far we have learned about functions and also about the for loops. Okay. Let's see what Asmita given. Yeah, she has mentioned that function is a block, and yeah, let me put this in this case also. before the, yeah, I'll add this thing over here as well. The nodes which Asmita shared on the chat window. Okay, the same thing. So I'll share this notebook as well. One more thing I want to ask you guys is, are you able to utilize this notebook when I shared it? For example, I am sharing this notebook file. I'm saying the file download as a IPYNB file. When I say download as IPYNB file, okay, it will download the file, right? Say, if I say close and halt, let me say close and halt. And if I close it, so here earlier I got that file, right? Let me go to my download section. I got this file, right? So this time when I say copy it, right? And if I go back to this folder, okay, I got this over here, like week 4, I give some rename option. So the Python file, assume like whatever I gave it to you guys can put it in one shared drive or like in folder, right? I got in like a desktop, learn Python basics or something. So this time, whenever you open the Jupyter notebook, right? If I close it, if I go back to this Python and say launch, assume like you opened up the Jupyter notebook. So my notebook is on the desktop, learn. So let's say learn Python basics, right? So this time, for example, where is my Python file? Yeah, week 4, for example. If I select it, then it will open up, right? So it takes time. Why? Because it was a large file, right? So this is what the method which you can utilize it. If I give a Python file, you can place it on your desktop somewhere and place it in a folder, then go back to the Jupyter notebook and look for the folder structure where I placed it on the desktop and the folder or whichever the folder path. Then just click on that Python file. Then it will automatically opens up in the Jupyter notebook, and then you can keep on utilizing it. You just need to, this is what the advantage. If someone has created the Python code and if you want to reuse it, you can reuse it. So let's get back to the other section. I think we already discussed these functions, right? So there is something called, the last topic which we're learning today is like a Lambda function. So here the Lambda function is nothing but it's like an small anonymous function I'm saying. So it can take any number of arguments, but can only have one expression. Okay, like, and this is a syntax. Lambda arguments expression. So that is the syntax. So for example, add 10 to argument A and return the results. So what I'm trying to do here is when I run this, so X equals to lambda, it's like a keyword. We need to utilize keyword lambda, A colon A plus 10. So print X of 5. 5 is a value which we are utilizing it. So 5 plus 10 will be 15. For example, if I say 50 over here instead of 5, and then I rerun it. So this time, when I say X of 50 means it passes a value. So 5 plus 10 will be 60. So that's what. So it can take, we can have only one expression. That's what we're trying to do here. So let's pick up one more example here. X equals to lambda A comma B colon A into B. So print X of 5 comma 6. So what it is trying to do is 5 is a value assigned to A, 6 is a value assigned to B, 5, 6 is 30. If I say like in 4 and 6, so you can see the difference. 4 is a value assigned to A and 6 is a value assigned to B. Like in 4, 6 is 24. So we can multiply arguments with an with A, argument A with argument B. So for example, A plus B also, we can utilize this function, right? So 4 plus 6 will be 10. So whatever the operator you want to utilize it, you can place the operator inside it, right? So you can utilize the operator and then we can run it. So instead I can say the same thing again back, A into B, and I run it like an 4 right? So let's pick up one more example, like a summarize arguments like an A, comma B and C and return the results. So let's assign x equals to lambda of A, comma B, comma C, colon A plus B plus C. So what are the values which you are passing? Print x of 562. A will be 5, B will be 6, C will be 2. 5 plus 6 plus 2 will be 13. So that is what the thing which is happening. So we are picking up 3 values instead of having 2. And also we are using like an summary. So here we are multiplying just like A into B. How does it respond? That's what we're trying to do. So here, one more thing which we need to do is, yeah, okay, 5, 6, and 2. 5 plus 6, 11, and plus 2. Yeah. So let's see why to use the lambda function. All right. So the power of lambda is better shown when you use them as an anonymous function inside another function. So that is what it's saying. Okay, let's pick up. So what we're trying to do is we are defining a function n, return lambda a into n, right? So here what I'm saying is my doubler equals to my function 2, print my doubler 11. So here what it is trying to do here is you're trying to call my function 2, right? So here n will be in first time n will be like an 2, right? So again here saying by doubler 11. So it's 2 11 jar, it's 22. Or else the other way also what we can say is you can see 11 11 plus 11 will be 22. All right. So that's how you can do here, but a equals to a into n. So here what it is treating as a equals to 2, n will be treating as l 11, sorry. So this is what it's treating. Okay, let me pick something like 6 instead of my function of 6, and if I rerun it, right, 6 into 11, 66. Okay. Okay, so let's pick up one more example in the same case. Okay, so here we are defining the name, defining my function n, return a equals to a into n. So this time it says my tripler, my function 3, and print my tripler. So here is a doubler, right? Let me leave it as 2 only as it is, so that it will be good enough. So 2 11 jar. Just we're trying to give the example like in double times, and we're doing as a triple times. Okay, so 3 into 11, right? Wait a minute. This I need to run it. Yeah, see the values change, right? So my function 3, print my tripler is 33. At this time when I say 4, and when I run, it says 44. So let's make it like an 3 only, right? Whatever the function which has been passed. So next let's take an example with my doubler and a tripler. So here what it is happening when I run this, so I'm giving this time as my doubler my function 2, so and my tripler my function 3. Okay, when I say my doubler 11, right? So here 2 into 11 will be 22, and the next time 3 into 11 will be 33, right? So it's just trying to see the same definition with both the functions. We got my function of with 2 and my function with 3, what it is going to do. So that's what, and I think Asmita has given some more information in the chat window. Let me put it over here. Thanks, Asmita. So let me read it out. So in Python, a Lambda function is a single line function declared with no name, which can have any number of arguments, but it can only have one expression. Yes, that is what we're trying to do. Here we're giving us a into n, something like that, a plus n. That's what one expression which we're trying to place in. Such a function is capable of behaving similarly to a regular function. Okay. Declared using the Python as def keyword. Yeah, def is nothing but we use for the function. When we define a function, we use def as a keyword, right? So we just need to follow the syntax. So let me see what else has been mentioned. So what else we got is we can use the apply function to apply the Lambda function to both the rows and columns of a data frame. Yes, we can do that. If the access arguments in the apply function is 0, then the Lambda function gets applied to in each column, and if 1, then function gets applied. Okay, yeah, we can give one example next week, like how we can use the apply function also. But just to recollect what we have learned today. So we started off with these loops, right? So to recollect back, we have learned today like in loops, especially the for loops, how the for loop works and what are the different methods like in for and else statement. Okay. And for with the list and how it reacts, and for and also the if condition for loop, and also the if condition, and when to use the break and when to use the continue. And we also got an option of range, how we can utilize a range like in passing the parameters, right? And we also learned like in break, like in printing the break, or like in printing print statement before the break and after the break, how does it react? We also learned like a nested for loops. Okay, right? And we got the chance to learn about the functions. So we might be using the functions in the next upcoming sections as well. Like in for loops and functions, we generally use a lot in the upcoming codes. So what else we're going to learn is we're going to learn the arrays, we're going to learn the modules. And once we finish off with these arrays and modules, then we'll follow with NumPy, followed by NumPy and pandas. So that's what we learn. Of course, we'll say in week 4 and 5, I would say. So week 4, we already learned few things, and next week 5, we'll learn these things. And feel free to post the questions in the WhatsApp group, or like an individual to me as well. So we've learned the functions and how to pass the arguments to a function. That's what we've learned. And we also learned like a Lambda function. We may not be using Lambda function regularly, but just to know like in what is Lambda function and what is the advantage and where we can use it. Mostly we'll be using the for loops and while condition, if condition, and then the functions. So thank you everyone for joining the session, and I will pass on this Python notes and also the video recording. Okay, I'll just stop the recording.